Just jumped on a couple of minutes early so I could try to get Naomi on. Hey y'all, hey, how y'all doing? What's going on? I know it's during lunchtime, so if we doing this a year at lunch and you don't get an opportunity, it's okay. You can come back and watch the replay. And we're also going to be sharing the link on YouTube where we had to start a YouTube page. Just in case y'all didn't see my update. Facebook deleted all the lives, so we just went on over to YouTube. I'm going to post here and on YouTube when we do the little Let's Chat sessions. So, we got to regroup, so we know they're not going to delete the YouTube videos, so we're just going to shift everything over there. So, let me see. Get Naomi on here. Y'all bear with me while I try to get her on. I hope y'all had a good day. My day started a little bit slow. I invited her, so I hope I did that right. Listen, don't judge me. And it's been some months since I did this. I'm going to be back on to be consistent because there's so many things for us to talk about. So many things going on in the world today. We're going to talk about some of that stuff. We're not going to be on here doing the most, but we're going to have some good conversation. Hey, Margaret. I'm waiting on my girl to come on in, my girl Naomi to come on in so I can add her to this good chat. Yeah, so with today being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, you know, we're going to talk about the challenges and how we get in there and how we've been able to get ourselves out for those of us that were fortunate enough to get ourselves out. Because we do know when you're a survivor that we know how it's just as dangerous getting out as it is actually being in the situation. And so we're going to try to help navigate some of that to help others and give them hope and realize you don't have to stay in those situations. You can get out. God always has a way for you to get out, to make a way for you to escape. We just got to use wisdom. Being that I have my own story, you know, to share. And I think I've shared it before, but I'm going to have to share it again now that they deleted all the lives. So, but I mean, I don't mind sharing. You can't go wrong. Share your story, helping someone else to come out of the situation, to realize there's hope for us. The ones that's been through that, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's emotional, there's definitely hope and you can get out. I know it seems hopeless a lot of times, and a lot of times it seems like you don't have anybody, or you've been separated from, you know, your family, and because that's mostly the time the way it works is, you know, they get you comfortable, they separate you from your family, and so you feel like once you get in that situation, you feel like you can't come out of it, or you don't have a great relationship with your family. So it's all kind of ways that you're being manipulated and exploited to believe that you'll never get out. I've read stories of women that's been in those situations for like 20 something years. God, that's a long time. But the main thing is you was able to get out. That's all that matters. So, so whether it's mental, emotional, or physical, it's all unhealthy, especially for your mental health. I think we have to stay connected to people that care about us, people that love us. I know when you are in those situations, can't nobody get you out until you're literally ready to get out. It was so many times that when in my own situation, just briefly. So many times in my own situation, when I was going back and forth, you kind of get out, you go back in, and you get out and you go. They be able to talk you back, talk you back into that situation, and um, let me tell you, with people like that, just know that you cannot bring nobody out that's not ready to come out. Because people was trying to do that with me. That's why I don't judge women that's in that situation like that, because I've been there. I know what the thought processes is. I know what they're. I know the excuses we give, and mentally you want to get out, but emotionally you absolutely just not ready. It don't matter what nobody else say, and really it's a roll of the dice, because at the end of the day, if that person is not ready and not tired of their situation, not tired enough of their situation, it don't matter what you say, they're not coming out of it until they get ready. And it's a roll of the dice for them, because the longer you stay, the greater the chances that you will lose your life. So you really rolling the dice with your own life. And you don't want to be that person to roll that dice with your own life, because your life is valuable. Even though you've probably been told for however long that their life isn't valuable, um, just know your life is valuable, because your self-esteem be snatched away and they beat you down by telling you all kind of stuff about yourself that's not even true. So the only thing is true is what God says about you, that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. That you're created in his image and after his likeness. So we just can't believe the lies that's been told to us concerning who we are when somebody trying to manipulate you. God is not a manipulator. God ain't trying to beat you up. He don't use harsh words towards you. He doesn't criticize you. Um, God deals with us in love, and in a loving, caring, fatherly manner. So yeah, Naomi, you have to accept the request, hon, to come on in on this live, hon. But anyway, yeah, so don't ever let somebody tell you, you know what I'm saying, to beat you down about how you look, or you know what I'm saying, oh, you stupid, or nobody else gonna ever want you, especially for women that got children. They'll tell you quick, ain't nobody else gonna want you. You don't have time for that, because that's not the plan that God has for us. You know what I'm saying? So what we're not gonna do is be in situations to where let me add her real quick. Allow the audience ads to participate, yeah, bro. Yes. Come on, Nene. Nene, I don't know why. For some reason, is this not private? I'm gonna try to bring you on here. It says adding. You have to accept the request, Naomi. But anyway, while we get Naomi on, um, the people that are volatile, when you're around volatile people, it affects you in your emotions, in your mind, and in your spirit, and it's stuff that just constantly brings you down. It's toxic. You know what I'm saying? You unhappy, you frustrated, but you just kind of put up with it and deal with it. Like you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. And so but sometimes you're in a position where you feel like you don't have no other choice. There's always other choices. There's always other choices. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with friends that that will tell you the truth, friends that would encourage you. Even though I wasn't ready to leave it many times, I still had people in my ear like, Karina, there's better. You have to stay in this, or this is not God's plan for you. And the things that people tell you, you literally already know that. It's just you haven't brought yourself to the point like, I do deserve better. I do want better. Um, I don't want to live like this, but I don't know how to get out. You know what I'm saying? You literally do not know how to get out of it. You don't have a strategy. You don't have any money. Child, I was working. I had my 2 kids. It's so many things, so many circumstances that surrounds people that are in those abusive situations that don't know how to get in, don't know how to, you know what I'm saying, that don't know how to let people in to help them, and then they don't know how to get out also. So yeah, we have to be mindful. And another thing that I've learned recently is that, you have Facebook friends. I'm on Facebook, and I pay attention to what people that, especially people that I know, I pay attention to what they post, because I feel like sometimes we could be so distracted with stuff that we don't really pay attention. And if you see somebody that's crying out for help, if I see somebody and they post kind of looks like a cry for help, best believe I'm finna jump up in their inbox. Like, whether they answer me or not, because in the inbox, even if I can video chat you, or I can leave a voice message. It could be real long, whatever it is, because I had to do that about 2 or 3 months ago for somebody that I saw. If we see it, we got to say something, because we can't wait for nobody else to do it, because your voice, might be that voice that person needs to hear to help them to come out of whatever situation that they're in. Right. So we have to be watchful, and we have to ask God to sharpen our discernment, so we can realize, okay, I've been seeing this consistently. That's a cry for help. How do I help this person? Resources, an encouraging word. And if it's something that you haven't dealt with, it could be something that somebody else that has gone through it. So you can use that person as a referral. Like, hey, I saw this person on such and so on social media, and something they said just ain't been sitting right, and I want to check on them. I haven't been through that, but I know that you've been through it, so I'm going to send. Hey, can I put them in contact with you? Everybody ain't been in no abusive relationship, and I get that, So, but you could put them in contact with that person. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, we definitely want to make sure that we're watchful. It's happening. I realize it's happening sooner and sooner, especially in school, because our young kids are being exposed to so much. Our kids are being exposed to so much that they see a lot of stuff on social media. They see a lot of stuff. We don't know what's got going on at home, so what you want to do is definitely, like, realize that this stuff happens. If you see change behavior all of a sudden in a young girl, or Nene, you're gonna have to request me, because it's not letting me send you a request. You have to send me a request, and I'll try to accept it. I don't know what's going on with it, but we're gonna roll with it anyway. Um, it's happening younger and younger in school. A lot of these kids are angry. We don't know why stuff they got going on. They're angry. They're young. They don't know how to deal with their emotions for whatever reason. Just they struggling with things, and so you realize when they start in, like, late elementary school, early middle school, they already have their little boyfriends or little girlfriends or whatever. And some of these little boys, I'm assuming it's based on what they've been exposed to, they're already putting their hands on these little girls, trying to control them, make them, force them. You know what I'm saying? And that's terrible for it to happen at such a young age. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be worried. We shouldn't have to, but we do worry about your middle school child being abused by this little boy. They both little, but you know what I mean? Like, it starts so early. And your daughters, you may realize your daughter may become more withdrawn, more separated. I know that's what happened with me. more withdrawn, more separated, kind of, distancing myself from everybody. For one, you got to think about the guilt, the shame, worried about what people going to say and what people going to think. But the thing about it is, the catch is they already know. You worry about what they already know that because whoever doing it, chances are they already got a reputation for doing it. So, and we feel like, or we self-blame. We blame ourselves like, well, if I wouldn't have done this, they wouldn't have been upset, or um if I wouldn't have made them mad, this wouldn't have happened, and that kind of stuff. We blame ourselves for the action of other people, and it's not supposed to be like that. It's not our fault that other person lacks self-control, or they angry, or they don't really know how to treat somebody else. You know what I mean? And so it's so much we have to be mindful of. Um, Again, like I said, ask God to sharpen your discernment so you'll know what's going on with your children, around your children. Naomi, I'm still waiting on you to add me, hon, because it's not letting me add you. If you can request to be in this live, send the request. But I haven't seen the request, so that's why I haven't added you yet. But yeah, and being, I ain't gonna tell the story, but there's a young lady that I knew years ago that was and found herself in a situation that she didn't make it out. She just literally didn't, and it was so unfortunate. That's all I'm gonna say on that, because I actually want to get the parent to come on here and talk about it if she's willing, But we have to learn how to love ourselves more, realize that we are worth it, realize that we are special, realize that we should feel safe. You know what I'm saying? We supposed to feel safe. We shouldn't live in fear. Living in a situation like that, you fear for every day of your life. Like, you living in fear because you don't know what this joker gonna be like when he wake up. You don't know what time he gonna be on. Sometimes them jokers wake up on demon time and you ain't even did nothing. You know what I mean? So I'm just so grateful to God for allowing me to get out of that mess that I was in. And then let me send an ad request, hon. You gotta accept it. We didn't have this hard time getting you on here the last time we was talking. But you have to accept the request. It's God's will for us to be happy, to have peace in our lives. Not nobody coming through here causing destruction and causing you to lose stuff, including your mind. Losing stuff, losing your doggone mind, your peace is snatched every day. You mentally and emotionally just exhausted. And that's not God's plan for us, to be physically, emotionally, mentally exhausted on the account of somebody else. And chances are, because that was the case, that was my case. I'm just talking about me. That was my case. I was warned many times, like, that person ain't no good. Don't get no relationship with that person, because it ain't gonna be good. It's not gonna go well for you. But when you young, I was 19. When you young, you just out here thinking you I'm gonna do it anyway. Yeah, and you ended up paying the consequences to that. And one thing I tell my girls is, there's consequences to every decision you make, whether it's a good decision or a bad decision. There are consequences. So choose the good decisions, so you don't be stuck dealing with the consequences of the bad decisions that we make. So I think we should love on ourselves. Like I said, love on ourselves more. And that's something I'm talking to myself doing that, because I don't do a lot for myself. It's like I find myself doing more for other people than for myself. And being that type of person is not good, especially when you're already in a situation of somebody else controlling you. They worried about, what you wearing and all of that stuff. Because had I already been a confident young lady when I was that younger, when I was that age and be a confident young lady, I don't feel like I would have allowed myself to be in a situation like that in the first place. Or when the first incident happened, I would have gotten out immediately. But self-esteem sometimes in my own situation play a role. Self-esteem, my self-worth, confidence, the all the things that the fathers uh role to um put in their child's in their daughters' lives and how they're supposed to confirm them and all that kind of stuff. I didn't have that. I didn't have any of that. A lot of the stuff, child, I was out there just experimenting. I didn't have no father figure. I didn't know what to look for in a good partner or whatever. So you just be out there winging it because you don't know, and you literally haven't been taught. Everything is always like just don't, but they don't tell you why. They don't give you like, oh, don't do this because, or if you do this, this can happen, or if you do this, this can possibly happen. Be mindful, but it just don't always come. It just doesn't always be like that. I sent you another request, Naomi. I don't know why it's not allowing you to accept it. I'm still waiting. But yeah. So when you have daughters, you want to do your best to build their confidence up, their self-worth. I did tell my daughters about me and their dad's situation, but I waited till they were older to where I knew they would be ready and understand, so that and I wasn't bashing their dad when I told them. I just simply told them what happened. I had broke it all down to them, different scenarios me and their dad had, what happened, the whys. I couldn't really explain the whys because most relationships that don't start off like that, they start off cool and they start off good until they're not. It'd be decent until it's not. Like, they don't, most of the time, and I'm gonna say in my situation, he didn't show up as the dragon. They show up more like want to be Prince Charming, or this cool person. They really care about you and want the best for you, and want to help you and listen to you. All that's good, and those tactics that they use, those are just tactics they use just to get you comfortable and make you feel like you're safe when really you're not. You're not safe at all. They just hanging there long enough to make you feel safe before the real them show up. Because think about that, the real them is gonna show up. All it just take is one little incident, and you realize, okay, this person is real different than what I thought they were, or I thought they was gonna be. So yeah, we just had. Oh, look, I just wish I had discernment then, because oh man, a lot of the stuff that I suffered and endured, I wouldn't have. But again, I'm just glad. I'm not gonna complain. I'm just glad I was able to make it out. I'm just so glad I was able to make it out of that situation, because um I had to get tired, and I did. I got tired. I was tired of myself. I was tired of the constant unnecessary. The stuff was just so unnecessary. Tired of the constant unnecessary stuff that I was going through and that I was dealing with. Constant unnecessary stuff. And that stuff you be tired. You don't want to do that stuff no more. You sick of people. You sick of you. You have children. You know, I had kids. I had two girls. You know, by the time it was all over, I had two girls. I had to, when you in there, you are thinking about the kids, but not in a way that you should be thinking about the kids. You be thinking about the kids in a way of trying to keep the family together at the expense of you the being, your literal being. Um, And then, so that was my mindset at such a young age. You know, you think about the kids and and but then at the same time, you don't want your kids exposed to that either. So you got both sides. You don't want your kids to be exposed to it, but then on the other side, you want to try to keep your family together so they can have a father in their life. But then you're like, who wants a father that act like that? And what kind of example? That's not a good example. So you're wrestling with both sides. So I don't know why is it so hard to get Naomi on here. I had to jump on my laptop real quick, y'all, to try to see why I can't get her on here. Why it's not letting her add herself? Because I keep sending her ad requests and it's telling me I can't add her. But anyway, um at the end of the day, I have to consider my children in a way that what is safe for them, not what's convenient for me or what I'm trying to do, what can bring the best results in this situation, which is to get out. That brought the results to get out, and that's what I did. So yeah, I'm gonna get on my laptop. I clicked join. I sent it again. Okay, Nene. I knew I had to go see because I can't see these comments. Let me see. Nope. Nene, it's still telling me I can't add you for whatever reason. So anyway, if you or somebody you know is in a situation like that, and maybe you haven't experienced that, listen, you can send them. You can have them to message me in my inbox because I know they out there. It don't matter their age. They could be young. They could be old. You got women in their 40s, 50s, 40s, and 50s that have been dealing with some stuff for like years and years and years, but it just got comfortable and they just learn how to deal with it and accept it. And that's not the life that you want to live. There is better out there, or feel like you've been doing it for so long that there's no other way. No. If you desire companionship, don't have nobody that's gonna be putting their hands on you and stuff. There's always somebody out there that's gonna be better. You may not believe that, but there's somebody out here that's gonna be better. That's gonna treat you like you deserve to be treated. That's not gonna be cussing you out on a regular and doing all that extra stuff. Um, Nanny, did you get on your laptop, girl? Because I'm waiting on you getting your laptop. But so I just sent Naomi, I just sent you another request. See if it'll let you join if you on your laptop already. But anyway, so I remember, and I'm gonna tell y'all this quick story because I don't want it to be long. Okay, I remember years ago, there was this young lady. I was talking to a group of girls about this same subject, and um by the time I got through talking to them, they was like, "Hey, you need to talk to so and so," because that's they friend, they homegirl. So what I did was, when I got through talking to them as a group, I pulled her aside. I'm not out here trying to embarrass nobody. I'm not trying to make you shame. There ain't nobody else got to hear this conversation. So we walked away from the group of her friends, and I pulled the girl to the side. And so I was like, so what's going on with you? And so she began to share, and I'm like, okay, because sometimes people just need you to listen. So I was like, okay, so we're gonna share, okay. And so Nene is saying that you're not answering. Every time I click add, it's saying you're not answering. I don't know why it's saying that. But back to what I was saying, I asked her what was going on. She told me. I just stood there, just listened to her the whole time. I listened to everything she had to say, what she had going on. And she was, I'll say, probably a shade lighter than me. And she had this big, huge bruise on her arm. And so I'm looking, I was like, I'm going to assume he did that to you. And she was like, yes, ma'am. Soft spoken, just, I hate to use the word timid, but that's kind of like what it was. And so I'm just like, okay, listen, here are your options. Because when you dealing with somebody that's already in it, you cannot be, oh my God, okay, this is what we gonna do. I didn't do that because I've been in it myself. This was a more of a life or death situation. It was literally a life or death situation for this girl. That bruise was huge. Oh God, I just cannot tell you how disturbed I was for seeing that. But I told her, I said, listen, I said, here are your options. Um, Either, and she didn't have any, I don't think she had children at this point. I said, here are your options. You either gonna make up your mind that you're gonna leave immediately and not go back. Don't go back for no shoes, no pots, no pans, no cups, no curtains, no toys, no clothes. Don't go back for nothing. And when I say this girl was out here in the country, like where we grew up at, I'm talking about it was nothing but woods. Anything happen to you, girl, ain't nobody gonna know it. It's gonna take them a long time, because you out here in the country in the woods somewhere. That's your option. You're gonna do that, or you're going to end up in a casket with all your friends standing over you, and that's the reality of the situation. You want to live? Do you want to live? That what you have to ask. Do you want to live? Because at the end of the day, when somebody tell you, "Girl, I will kill you," oh, he say that all the time. No, when they tell you that, it's not only to scare you. Realize that they will literally do that. You better believe what they're telling you. Don't be like, "Oh, girl, he been saying that for 20 years until the 21st year," and then you no longer here, and everybody mourning your loss. You know what I'm saying? So, honey, when they tell you they're gonna kill you, you better believe them when they tell you that the first time. They do not say that jokingly. Now, granted, they will do that to try to put fear in you and scare you, but some of them will still do it. Most of them. I told you that I would kill you, especially if they can't. They realize once an abuser realizes they're losing control, that makes them lose control of your actions and realize that you emotionally checking out. That makes them even madder. And so they take extreme measures. Anybody locking you up in a room and all that, child, listen, get out while you can and don't go back for nothing, because all they need to do is to catch you slipping and catch you back there. And that's what I told her. I said, girl, don't go back there to that house. Whatever you got over there is not worth the value of your life. No clothes, no furniture, no nothing is worth your life. All that other stuff can be replaced, but you only get one chance to live this life. You can buy all that other stuff over. And one thing, and I gave her my phone number. I said, if you need to call me, or if you feel like you drifting back in that direction, call me before you do. Just call me so I can talk to you. You call me anytime. I don't care what time of night it was, and she live in Louisiana. Just call me. I don't mean that as a cliche. Girl, you better call me. Call me first. Don't go back. If you thinking about going back, call me. Don't go back to that situation. I'd rather talk to you first. At least know I tried a second time, to keep you from going back to that mess. And so as I kept in contact, I didn't even just give her my phone number, then call her back. I checked on her. I called her back. I checked back in with her, like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? And I realized that she never went back. She got her another job. She started doing really, really well. And she's still alive today. Look at Jesus. Boy, I'm telling you, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to talk to her. Because what if nobody ever talked to her? It could have been a completely different story if nobody would have ever reached out to her, or nobody would have ever talked to her, or encouraged her, or let her know, girl, you can get out. Coming from somebody that's been in that situation already, you can get out. It's hard, but you have to come up with a plan to get out. So, then they used Naomi, you still struggling? I sent you another ad request. See if you can add yourself this time. So, yeah, so I'm so glad that her life didn't end because it literally would have, you know. And my goal is to continue to tell my story, other women's story that has been in abusive relationships, um, how they got in, and mainly how they got out. I'm gonna tell you, listen, I'm gonna tell you how I got out. So, and I'm gonna go back and tell my whole story again. Even I'm gonna have to tell my whole story again. But I'm just giving bits and pieces while I'm trying to wait on um this situation with Naomi. Um, I had to be snuck away. I had to be snuck away. Like I was so exhausted of it all. I cannot explain the exhaustion. I was so tired. And like once you get to that point that like I am completely over this and I'm not doing this no more. And so you realize, especially when you have children, they don't I knew he wasn't gonna let me just leave. And he was gonna use the kids as an excuse. Now, I knew he was gonna use the kids as an excuse to try to keep me though. It wasn't that he really cared about the kids. It was like I'm gonna use kids to manipulate the situation to keep her in this mess that you know what I'm saying, that the mess that I was in. Child, listen. Um, so I knew better. I was like, okay, let me. I got with my aunt, and we came up with a plan. And see, this is you got to have an escape plan. Get with somebody that you know that's gonna help you escape. So there is somebody out there that will help you escape, right? And I got with my aunt, and we came up with a plan. And my plan was to move completely. I couldn't move around in the same area and think he was gonna just let me be all and just leave me alone. He was not gonna do that. Control, narcissistic behavior. He wasn't gonna let me do it. So we came up with a plan for me to come to Texas. That's how I ended up here in the first place. Came up with a plan for me to come to Texas. And with him on his side of it, I kept acting like everything was perfectly fine. We all good. Ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing going on. We straight. We ain't got no problems. And the only people that knew I was leaving was my aunt and my cousin because she's the one that brought me and my two children that were 2 and 3 months. Yeah. 2 and 3 months. And it was my aunt and her youngest daughter was the only people that knew that was the plan. I didn't tell my mama. My mama didn't know nothing because I knew he was gonna call her. I didn't want her to have to lie, so I ain't tell her nothing. But she knew I was gonna be. She just knew I wasn't gonna be in that situation no more. She just didn't know what was happening, so I didn't. We didn't tell her, but she knew I was gonna be good. Me and her grandchildren was gonna be good. Um. So wee hours of the man had to be like 4 or 5 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Like I think we got up at 4. All I had was one bag. Y'all remember them suitcases, uh, old school suitcases, they extended. Like you can unzip it and it extend. That's all I had of me and my kids stuff. That's all I had was that bag. Of course, a diaper bag because I had an infant. But that as far as my belongings, that's it. Everything else I ain't even care about. I don't care what you do with it. I don't care about none of that. That one bag. Wee hours in the morning, my cousin took me down to the bus station. And wee hours in the morning, we just quietly slipped away and didn't go back. Um, got situated in Texas, with the help of my aunt, my other aunt that lived here. And yeah, I didn't call, contact, slipped away quietly and just stayed gone. Stay gone. Do you hear me? I don't need none of them problems. Your people, not stay gone. I don't even think I went back and visited until I was mature, until I was on the, I ain't gonna say healed because it took a while, but because that's a lot of trauma to get through. You know what I'm saying? So not healed, but healing. I'm gonna say that because it was a continuing process. I was healing. So yeah, so it was years before I contacted not him, but his people, like his mama, his sister, whatever, and years. 4 years went by. 4 years went by before I contacted anybody, and that because it was heavy on in my spirit to do so. I didn't know why, but it was just. But I was still chill, like, you sure? Asking like, do I need to do this? But in that time, in those 4 years, I was maturing, trying to, learning who I was outside of him, building, getting my career together, making sure my kids are straight, just trying to reestablish myself, not just physically reestablish myself, just reestablish myself um, emotionally. Like when you've been hurt and dealing with that kind of stuff, it's so hard, it's so easy to take it out on other people. Because I hated men, I did. I hated them for a long time until I stopped hating them. I didn't trust nobody. Trust was absolutely destroyed, especially where men is concerned. You can sit here and tell me it's raining outside, and I just be looking like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So when you go through little traumatic situations like that, well, I ain't gonna say little, but major traumatic situations like that, man, um, it literally destroys your confidence. Your self-esteem is definitely in the trash. They was tearing that up while you were still in a relationship with them. They were tearing that up already. So I worked on building me, learning who I was, learning who I was to become. So I will be fit to help my girls learn who they are, who they're gonna become. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't do that if I was in a terrible state emotionally, spiritually. It was just a lot of stuff I had to consider, a lot of stuff that I had to work on in the meantime. So Naomi, you can't request me. Thank you, April. I just saw your post, your message. I'm sorry because I'm looking at my messages on here. I'm not ignoring y'all, I promise. Um, but yeah, and you know what y'all know what else is crazy about being in relationships like that is you look at the other side like if I would not have left, I literally would have died. Who's gonna raise my children? That psycho would have been in prison. My kids would have been probably on my mama. Is that fair to her? No. She already raised us. All her children grown. It wouldn't have been fair for me to stay in a bad situation, allow myself to die, and for her to end up with my kids. That's if her and the other grandmama were fighting over them. But my mama wasn't going to let my kids go to nobody else. Can I say I'm just glad to be here? Huh? Can I just say I'm glad to be here? Um, because the other side of that is like, a lot of people that I know and I met, like Naomi said, I would have never met y'all. Y'all would have never got this experience. For people that know that I'm not just me, I'm an experience because of my personality. But the crazy part is I wasn't always this person. Life altering challenges literally changes you it alters you as a person. I wasn't this person. I wasn't confident. I would, when I first came out of that mess, I promise y'all, I know y'all know what you see in this personality right now, but this was not always me. I was letting folk run clean over me. Because think about it. You come out of an abusive relationship, and while you was in there, the habits that you had while you was in there, you still got them habits. Like when you deal with somebody that's abusive and you just try to do the best. They always ranting and raving and fussing and just going on about a bunch of nothing. You learn how to try to de-escalate. You're trying to de-escalate. So you try to I was avoiding confrontation. So guess what? I was still that person when I moved here. It was so many things I had to let fall off of me. When I first got here, I was people would talk to me crazy, and me because I'm still in that mind frame of I don't like confrontation. Let me try to avoid confrontation, right? And so that's who I started out being. I was still that person. Let people run over me, talk to me in the kind of way. And me, I'm just trying to avoid confrontation to keep the peace. So I was just let people talk to me crazy. And I was like, oh, okay, and I just go about my business until until I didn't. Baby, listen, that pot only gonna boil for so long before that kettle whistle start going up, before that kettle whistle start going off. Okay, so I remember I was at work and I was I already being working at daycare is already hard, but the employees there they was all Nady, I tried to add you again. The employees, some it's real ratchet. Some of them was just real ratchet, and I didn't care. I was just there to work, take care of my kids, get myself together, trying to regroup from after being in a bad situation. And so they would say little snappy, little slick stuff. You know how you at work, people say little slick stuff. They say little slick stuff, and I wouldn't say nothing until I did. Man, I went on. I let that junk go on for until I just blew up one day at work. Now it wasn't in front of the little daycare kids because I had them after schoolers. They was rowdy anyway, but until I blew up, and the even the daycare owner was like, I was wondering how long you was gonna let them talk to you like that. Being a person that like peace, man, I just so I went from one extreme to the next. Now, soon as you say something, it's cracking immediately. Like I'm not gonna let nobody run over me. I get it. And see, and even then, you gotta get back that balance. Like, girl, I was saying the first thing to come to my mind, whether it was offensive to you or not, don't come for me and I won't come for you. It was that made me ratchet. That wasn't cute. I didn't have no filter. Like, just say anything, And so I had to find that balance. Like, girl, you can deal with stuff without having to be ratchet about it. You can have tact when you say stuff. Uh, you can be more uh, calm when you say stuff. You can say stuff without letting people. You can deal with situations without letting people run over you. That was the thing. You let people do it. You can help people learn not to run over you, and you ain't the one to be played with, even though you don't like violence and you don't like confrontation. I don't like dysfunction. So I learned ahead. It took years though. It took years to get. It took friends constantly tell me like, "Girl, fix your face. Why you always walking around here looking like something stank?" Me, because I be having stuff on my mind, and then my face be following what's going on in my mind that has nothing to do with the outside world that I'm dealing with. So people are like, why you always looking like that? Do you ever smile? That's why I learned not to say stuff like that to people because you don't know what that person been through. They don't have to smile if they don't want to. There could be a very good reason why they're not smiling. Leave me alone and mind your business. Especially when the men come and tell me, girl, you so pretty, you should smile. I'm gonna need you to keep moving. You you don't have to address me at all. I could have went my whole day without you saying anything at all. You know what I mean? So it took years, but I did get that balance back. So now I know how to say stuff without it don't have to come out ratchet. You know what I mean? That ain't the way it's supposed to be. Ain't supposed to be coming off with the ratchetry. But again, life and being in situations like that will cause you to do that. Nay, nay. Try to see if you can request me because I'm not able to request you for some reason. And I guarantee you the only person that's going to do this with because people probably evidently need to hear your story and it's not flowing today. But because I'm also a survivor, I can hold it down. But but yeah, April, you say I am an experienced girl. Me and April work together at Walmart. It was always a good time. But yeah, but no, for real, like y'all just don't ever let nobody misuse or abuse you. No, but don't let nobody do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody put their hands on you. It's not love. It's not. And I don't want nobody putting their hands on my daughters because that's a whole nother situation. You know what I'm saying? That can cause a whole nother problem. You know, I know the two that I got, you know, and I know what each one of them is capable or not capable of. So I'm gonna leave that there. Um, but but we just let's be mindful of when people warn us about stuff in advance. If you were able or privileged to get that warning, if people telling you that person bad news, trust me, more than likely they're bad news. My whole family told me, especially after they started hearing rumors about him being in a certain type of lifestyle. Um, but I did it anyway. Out of rebellion, and it's not cute. You pay for that. See how I done paid for that rebellion? Oh, had I just listened. But then if I really would have listened, I wouldn't have had my kids. I mean, you know, you don't never regret the children, but dog, I just feel like life would have been so different had I just actually listened and been obedient, and I would have experienced that hardship. But because I want to be rebellious, I had to deal with those consequences. Because being in that relationship, I was exposed to so much stuff I ain't never seen up close and personal in my life. Just I never in my life. A lot of stuff I could have went without knowing and would have just watched it on TV. But because I didn't want to listen, I was physically there to see quite a bit, and that I could have went my whole life without it. Like, don't do that. God, you know. So thank God I'm out. Thank God my children are safe because there were many times in that situation, and I'll talk about that, like go in depth in my own story, uh, in another video. But I don't know. Um, I don't know when. I'll put that flyer out. I'll put it out sooner this, than this time, than I did this time. But again, I'm just glad I was able to get out. I'm glad my children were able to get out because it was so many times. Technically, I should have lost my kids, both of them. It's been at points in that situation I should have lost both of them. Early stages and late stage pregnancy. Yeah, that's not cute at all. So when you're in them situations and you definitely have children, you got to think about your kids. You know, even when you're carrying them, you got to think about your kids because there's only so much protecting you can do um, when you're pregnant. You do the best that you can, but you're risking a lot. And so, yeah. But just know that I'm better. I'm better. Yes, that was a horrible experience, but since I've had that horrible experience, I can help other people, young and old. It don't matter the age group because this goes on in so many different ages. It don't even matter. Um, I can help others come out and help give them the boost that they need, and that's one of my goals. I want to help women that's been in situations like that to come out, or young girls that's currently in it to give them the strength, the know-how, and the power to realize you don't have to stay in there. You can literally get out, and you are not what they say you are. Whatever they say you are that don't line up with what the words say that you are, they lie. Yeah, it's a lie. It's a lie. So, if anybody on here, because I don't know who all was able to get on here that has been in the situation or is currently in a situation and needs some help, just reach out to me. Because if I don't have the necessary resources, now I can tell you a lot of stuff, or I'll tell you what I did, like I just told you. But if you need more resources, we gonna put it together. We gonna help regardless. Whatever we got to do, we gonna put the resources together. We gonna help. We gonna help you get through that. Yeah, we gonna help get through. We gonna help get through. Help you get out of that and get through it. But yeah, we gonna make that happen because that's a part of what I do believe that's part of what I'm one of the things that I'm supposed to be doing to help other women come out, to help build confidence and let them know like, hey, you were fearfully and wonderfully made. You deserve better, and there is better. I know outside seem like a cesspool because I say it myself. Is people out there, but God has somebody for you, and you don't have to settle. I'm gonna say it like that. God got somebody for you. You can settle. And another little tidbit I'm gonna drop off: just because you have children for that person, don't mean that that's who you're supposed to marry. I don't know why I had that mindset. I guess because I was never taught no different. I really wasn't told anything in that matter. We didn't really. It was more like just don't, but not like explained. Like you have to be warned. Let me warn you of this, that, and the third, or whatever. It wasn't exact. It wasn't like really explained. Like maybe like I've explained it to my daughters because I've experienced that. But um um yeah, you can get out. There's always a way. Don't ever give up. Your life is worth it. Your life is important. Your life matter because there are people for all of us to help and to minister to or to encourage or help them to come out. And that's what we're going to do. So in the meantime, what I think I'm going to do later on today, Naomi, I know you still on here. I want y'all, I'm going to tell y'all, if y'all can come back later, I think we're going to try to shoot for tonight, Naomi. When I get off, I'm going to message you and we're going to figure out how to do this. To get you on here, why you wasn't able to get on here. But I really want y'all to hear Naomi's story. She's young. Her story is quite a doozy. And what I'm going to do is after I get everything situated at home and she gets everything situated, we're going to come back and we're going to regroup. And I want y'all to hear her story. I'm not going to really be talking, but I'm just going to let her, since I done did all this talking, but I'm going to let her tell her story. And it's not going to be long. We're not going to be long, but I'm going to let her tell her story. If y'all can come back and hear her story, that would be great. Because, and I tell people this, even if you haven't experienced it, you can share my story with somebody else, or you can share her story with somebody else. Like, hey, I've never been in that situation, but I know of a girl. She told her story. This happened. This is how her story went, and this is how she got out. You can always share our story with somebody else if you come across somebody. You can share. You can share our stories with them, whatever can help them. It may you might just share our story for them and encourage them yourself because you are already present. You know what I mean? So we're gonna come back. I'm gonna figure out what time. I'm gonna get with Naomi. Let me see. Hey, Mernacia. Um, yes, Naomi, you are young. Um, April, I see you, and I'm gonna invite you when I do it. I want y'all to hear her story. I'm just gonna introduce her, and I'm gonna let her let it fly. And so, but if y'all have questions concerning anything that I just said or anything that she's going to say, or if you wondering about anything about people in situations like that, you can always put them in the comments and ask, and I'm going to answer. Okay. And if you want to be tagged when we jump back on this live, just put it in the comments, tag me. So when we jump back on here, so y'all can hear Naomi's story of survival, because that's what it is, a story of survival. Just hit tag me and I'll specifically tag y'all. But what me and Nene gonna do is figure out this live and why we couldn't get her on. We need to get her better situated because I don't like the fact that we couldn't get her on here today. But anyway, we gonna work that out regardless, okay? But all right then. Yeah, we gonna be back. I'm gonna tag y'all, the ones that want to be tagged. I'm gonna tag y'all when we come back so y'all can hear this story, and I'm just gonna let her talk. And if y'all got questions, I'm gonna be watching while she's talking, and I'm gonna be answering questions in the comments. Yeah, I got you too, Myrna. I see you. I'll tag you too. And also, before I go, if you know somebody that's already in this situation, I don't care, married, single, deployed, it don't matter. Whatever the case is, if you know somebody, a woman that's already in this situation, please invite her to the group so she can be a part of it. She can come back and watch this live. Oh yeah. Y'all that's on here already, go subscribe to We the Village YouTube. Nene, can you post the link to that YouTube in the comments? And when you post that link, I'm gonna share it in the caption too. Go subscribe to We the Village. That way, I'm gonna do video. We'll do live videos over here, and then I'm gonna share them, upload them to the YouTube channel. That way, the way Facebook, they delete our lives every 30 days. I really hate that they do that because all the previous lives we had are now gone. I tried to download them, I followed the directions, and now I can't find them. So we ain't got to worry about that on YouTube. So YouTube is gonna we're gonna be over there. I'm gonna upload it on YouTube so y'all can go subscribe there too. So yeah, and put it in the caption for me, Nene. But you just go search We the Village. It should be the same. It's gonna be the same photo cover as it is in this group, so you'll know it's us. We just went on and did that with Facebook deleting the lives. We need people to be able to go back and rewatch this stuff and to be able to share it with other people that they believe that needs this information. Okay. So anyway, all right, y'all enjoy. It's around lunchtime. Y'all enjoy y'all lunch. We gonna come, me and Nene gonna figure this out, and we gonna come back. I'm gonna tag y'all when we come back so y'all can actually hear her story, okay? All right, we will see y'all in a little bit. Nene, I'm about to call you. All right, I'll tag y'all.